Hey, this is Jeremy, and it's finally time to talk about Babygirl.
Good girl.
Okay, as some of you may know, I am a big Nicole Kidman fan, like huge. We're talking, I have her name tattooed inside of a heart on my leg, huge. So needless to say, I've been looking forward to this film since it was announced years ago. And I've been shaking with excitement since Nicole won the Volpe Cup for Best Actress at the Venice Film Festival back in September. So Babygirl was directed by Helena Rain, who directed the 2022 film Bodies, 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 which I ultimately didn't really like, but it was kind of fun, and it had juicy performances from Rachel Sennett and Pete Davidson. She also directed a Dutch film called Instinct in 2019, which I haven't seen, but Nicole won't shut up about, so I will be seeking it out and watching it. We all know about Nicole's pledge in 2017 to work with a female director every 17 months. Or was it 18 months? Anyway, she's exceeded that pledge pretty much every year since. She's also always on the lookout for new talent. She watches films from all around the world, trying to spot people that she could work with. That's how she ended up seeing Rain's Instinct and got in contact with her about potentially collaborating on something. They were working on something else, but when Helena mentioned the script that she was writing for Babygirl, Nicole was like, "Excuse me, you're working on something called Babygirl? I want to read that." And the rest is history.
It's Babygirl.
So Babygirl is about Romy, a high-powered, sexually unfulfilled CEO who leads a big AI tech company, who gets involved with a young intern played by Harris Dickinson. And she discovers that contrary to the control she exerts in her professional life, she likes to be told what to do and kind of dominated in the bedroom or the hotel room or the back alley. This leads her to get more in touch with herself and discover parts of her sexuality that she didn't know or understand before, while it's also wreaking havoc on her marriage and her family in the process. Now, as you can imagine, I love this film. I was very into the story, but it really comes alive with the performances. Kidman and Dickinson are perfect, and they give raw and really exciting performances, which Helena's direction probably had a lot to do with. I think this movie would look completely different if it had been written and directed by a man. It's great to see this delicate story made by a woman, and I think the actors' performances are what they are because it was directed by a woman. The script is great. I can tell why Nicole connected with it. The dialogue is juicy and always surprising.
You always have cookies on you?
Why do you want one?
But one thing, I don't know if this was in the script necessarily, but once Nicole and Harris start hooking up with each other, there's a few sex montages, like really quick montages of various times they hook up. And the clips in these montages are not giving us like the domination thing or what's explored in the few of the longer scenes. And there seems to be so many hookups or many times that they have sex that it kind of diminishes those other encounters that we experience with them like in their entirety. I think for the story to be told and for Nicole's character to experience what she does, there could have only been a few very specific scenes that they experienced together. I think the montages, I guess, speak to their passion and shows how close they got and how comfortable they got with each other. But I think those longer scenes are more powerful and they could have left the audience with just that. But whatever. I'm not going to be all Gen Z and complain about sex scenes in movies. I'll take everything they give me. I'm also not sure I like the ending. Sure, it works and it makes sense, but I kind of wanted things to end differently and maybe like badly. Maybe that speaks more to me and the fact that I might not be letting go 100% in my sexuality, that I want these characters to kind of be punished for doing so and for having fun. And a lot has been said about the specific scene that's set to George Michael's father figure. And that scene is cool and all, but have we forgotten about the batshit crazy fight scene set to father figure in Charlize Theron's Atomic Blonde from 2017? That scene remains the best scene in the history of cinema to use George Michael's iconic song. Maybe Babygirl's music supervisor should have used something else. Also, fun fact, the office scenes in this movie were shot at the A24 office in New York, apparently to save money. I think that's really cool. And I also read that the rave scene was shot at the Knockdown Center in Queens. Now, it's impossible to review a Nicole Kidman movie without talking about the wig. And I'm sad to report that the wig isn't wigging. I've known this for over a year when I first saw those paparazzi shots of Nicole on the streets of New York shooting that dog scene. Those two little streaks in front kind of bother me. And it was kind of distracting in all the sex scenes. I was like, shit, watch the wig. I don't know if the casual viewer will feel the same, but once you're aware of it, it's kind of hard to look at anything else. I don't know why Nicole refuses to wear her own hair in any movie, but now Oscar-wise, obviously it would be amazing if Nicole was nominated for Best Actress for this, but the Best Actress race is so crowded this year, I'm afraid it might not happen. All the pundits are predicting Angelina Jolie, but to me, as we've discussed before, Angie Jo doesn't belong in this category, and I think Nicole should take her spot. But as we know, Nicole doesn't usually get nominated for her more like ballsy performances. She didn't get nominated for Birth, for Dogville, To Die For, Destroyer, Eyes Wide Shut. I think the Academy takes her for granted a little bit, and doesn't realize how lucky we are to have an A-list actress of her caliber taking huge risks constantly and pushing herself in new territory with every performance. Someone of her stature could be content with like phoning it in, and not pushing herself, but not Nicole. She lives and breathes acting, and she wants to like really go there. And that's why we love her. She didn't get the AFI Lifetime Achievement Award earlier this year for nothing. And speaking of that honor, at the ceremony, Meryl Streep talked about working with Nick on Big Little Lies Season 2, and how in their first scene together, Meryl had to come in and comfort Nicole after waking up from a bad dream in the middle of the night. And Meryl couldn't believe how every time she walked into that room and took Nicole into her arms, Nicole's heart was pounding out of her chest, take after take after take.
She never, ever lost the ferocity of that kind of, oh God, it was just thumping fear. I haven't recovered from that first day. I have never seen anything like that in my life.
Now, when the most awarded actress of all time says that about you, I think you're doing something right. Hopefully that experience inspires Meryl to push herself a little bit more and maybe take a few chances. Notice how I didn't bring up Antonio Banderas, who plays Nicole's husband in this movie. That's because I don't think he's that good. There's a big scene towards the end of the movie where Nicole's character reveals stuff to him that she's never said before in their like 19 years of marriage. And the way that Antonio played it, like I didn't believe him for a second. Sorry. I gave this movie 4 stars on Letterboxd. I loved it, and I would love to watch it again. I recommend everyone go out and see it. It's definitely the better movie that came out this Christmas. A lot more engaging and entertaining than Nosferatu.
I just got back from seeing that movie Babygirl with Nicole Kidman, Harris Dickinson, and the dad from Spy Kids. And that was some freaky deaky shit. My God.
And let's hope Nicole gets nominated.
I tell you what to do and you do it.